Hello students, I am your Abhijit sir, and today we will discuss about the fifth chapter, that is our constitution. Okay, though it is a very small chapter, you can see, but one of the most important chapters in your book is this chapter, because if you want to know the structure of our country, the form of the government, then you have to understand our constitution. Okay, so without understanding our constitution, you cannot understand the structure of the government in our country. Okay, so at first we will know what is constitution. So a constitution is a body of fundamental principles according to which a country, state or other organization is governed. Okay, so it is a body of fundamental principles which helps to run the government. Okay, so when India was not independent, so we had to follow the rules imposed by the Britishers. But as we got independence, so we had to create our own rules and regulations to govern our own country. For that purpose, a constituent assembly was formed in the year of 1946. Okay, and the responsibility of this constituent assembly was to form a draft form of constitution, right? And this constituent assembly was headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and I'm quite sure that you have heard this name because he is very popular. Why? Because the constituent assembly, okay, which was formed to form our constitution, okay, it was headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, and it is a very difficult work, right? That is why it took almost 3 years. It is such a long time to create a draft of the constitution. Okay, so students, after completing the work, the constitution was adopted on 26th November 1949, and after 2 months, you can say December and January, almost 2 months, the constitution was adopted and came into force on 26th of January 1950, and that is why we celebrate Republic Day on this day. So if you are asked that why do we celebrate Republic Day on 26th January, I think you can easily answer now. Okay, so our constitution is the longest written constitution because it was a planned and has been completed within a fixed time period. So it is a written constitution, and it is the longest constitution also in the world. And it has some important features for which our constitution is very famous all over the world. The preamble, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, directive principles. Okay, so you have to keep in your mind these features. These are very important: preamble, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, and directive principles. Okay, and we will come to know later on about the sources of these features, okay, which has different sources. Now students, what is preamble? We will try to understand. So the preamble is a brief introduction, you can see here, to the Constitution of India. What does it do? It lists down the guiding principles of our constitution. Okay, so it is clear that the preamble lists down the guiding principles of our constitution, and it also mentions that the Constitution of India derives its authority from the people of India. So actually students, when the constitution was formed, okay, the action has been taken from the representatives from all over the country. That is why it is said that the Constitution of India derives its authority from the people of India. This sentence is very important, okay, and it is considered as the heart of our constitution. So it is the soul and heart of our constitution. Okay, so according to the preamble of our constitution, India would be sovereign, socialist. You have to keep these points in your mind, okay, so that whenever you are asked about the features of India, you can tell it easily. So India would be what? Sovereign, socialist, then secular, democratic, republic. Okay, so these are the main points of, or you can say the important features of our constitution, of our government. So now we will understand what is sovereign. So an independent country free from external control. So India is a independent country and it is free from any external control. Because it is independent, that is why it is called sovereign. But before independence, okay, India was influenced by whom? Or India was under the British control. That is why that time India was not sovereign, but after independence, India became sovereign. Then socialist. What is socialist? A country where the resources of the nation are shared among all citizens. Okay? As you can see in our society, we all the people together share the resources of the nation, and that is why it is our country is a socialist country. Then secular. What is secular? Then a country with no official religion and equal respect for all religion. So such a country where there is no official religion and there we respect all the religions equally. That is why India is a secular country. Okay, it is not a religious country. You must understand this. It is secular because it is our constitutional right that we can follow any religion according to our wishes. Okay, now democratic. What is democratic? A country where the government is chosen by the people through democratic means. So in our country we choose the government by giving our vote. That is why it is a democratic country. Okay, then let's talk about republic. What is republic? A country that is ruled by an elected government and has no kings or queens as the head of the state. That is republic. So the head of the country is not a king or queen. Okay, that is why India is a republic country. Like our neighbor country Bhutan, okay, they have their king as the head of the government, but in our country it is not like that. That is why our country is a republic country. Don't get confused between republic and democratic. Okay, I have seen people getting confused. That is why I am telling you from the beginning only, try to understand the difference. Now the preamble also assures all Indian citizens of justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. So the preamble has assured us the justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. Okay, so now what is justice? It means that fair treatment of all and equal status in the eyes of the law. Okay, so we all are equal, whether you are rich, poor, whether you belong to any kind of religion, any kind of social status, you are, or we all are, equal in the eyes of the law. Then what is liberty? Liberty means complete freedom of speech, thought and choices as long as they do not harm others. So we have the freedom, okay? We have the freedom of speech. We have the right to speech, we have the freedom of speech, thought and choices. That is why protestations or demonstrations are allowed. But it must not be violent. Okay? So you can give your, or you can express your thought in front of the government. That is not wrong. So this is the freedom that has been given to you by our constitution only. Equality, that means equal and fair opportunities to all irrespective of their caste, gender and religion. So equal treatment or equal opportunity will be given, okay, not, and it will be irrespective of your caste, gender. So you may belong to any caste, any gender, but you will be provided equal opportunity. Fraternity is the feeling of brotherhood shared by all citizens and sense of belonging to the country. So fraternity is the feeling of brotherhood. We all are brothers and sisters. Okay, so this feeling is called fraternity. One thing I would like to add is that the socialist and secular words were added later on. Okay, it was added through the 42nd amendment of the Constitution in 1976. So a question may come, okay, from this. So you have to keep this in mind. In 1976, the word socialist and secular were added. Okay. So students, we always hear people saying that it is my right to do this, it is my right to do that. No. So where do we get these rights from? That we will come to know here in this topic, that is fundamental rights. Okay, so the Constitution of India guarantees the citizens of the country some basic rights that cannot be taken away from. So these rights are called fundamental rights. So these rights cannot be taken away from you, and these rights has been given by the Constitution only. These rights are called fundamental rights. Okay, so what are those fundamental rights? We will come to know about this. These are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. You have to keep all these points in your mind, okay, and you should never forget this. Okay, through the period of your life you have to keep this in your mind, not only for scoring marks but also to know about the form and structure of the government, about your rights, okay, so that it will help you in difficulty. So right to equality means that whether you are poor, rich, you would be treated as equal and would be provided equal protection by the laws. That means you are equal in the eyes of the government, in the eyes of the law. So that is right to equality. Right to freedom means you have the liberty, you have the freedom to speak and express your thoughts. Okay, so you have the right of speech and expression, assemble peacefully and without arms. Okay, that is not violent. Then to form associations or unions, move freely throughout the territory of India and reside and settle in any part of the territory of India. Though you will find some exceptions which will be discussed later. Okay, but for now you just keep this in your mind that you have the right to settle in any part of the territory of India and you can move freely throughout the territory of India. Then right against exploitation is the Constitution prohibits any kind of exploitation of Indian citizens. For example, prohibits forced labor of any kind of the employment of children below 14 years. Okay, so you are prohibited okay, from child labor, and you have the right to go to school below 14 years, and this is the government's responsibility. So before 14 you cannot go to work. Right to freedom of religion, you have the right to choose any religion, as I told you before. Cultural and educational rights, you have the right and to follow your own culture, okay, and you can work to preserve your culture and language. So you have this right, constitutional right. Then right to constitutional remedies, it gives the people of India to move to the court in case their fundamental rights are taken away or threatened. So you can move to the court if you feel that your rights are not being provided to you, okay. So this is called constitutional remedy. However, besides the constitutional rights or fundamental rights, we have some duties also. So the Constitution of India also lists down several duties. These are called as fundamental duties, and these are: you have to abide by the Constitution, you have to respect the national flag and national anthem, you should follow the noble ideas of our freedom fighters, and you have to protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of the government or of the country. Then to promote harmony amongst people of different religion, caste and creeds, protect and improve forests, lakes, rivers, that is national resources. Then provide education to children. Okay, now you are children, so it is your parents' fundamental duty to provide education to you, and even this is the responsibility of the government too, to provide education. So these are the fundamental duties. And finally, what are directive principles? A very important topic. So to ensure that the ideas of the preamble are kept in mind while making laws, the Constitution of India lists some guidelines for the government. These guidelines are called directive principles. So you can say that directive principles are the fundamental duties not for the people but for the government. Okay, so these directive principles are followed by the government. Okay, what are these? These are that government should work to promote the welfare of the people, then they should work to remove inequalities from the society, they should have adequate means of livelihood, government should provide equal pay for equal work, and every child should go to school. So these are the responsibilities of the government which the government needs to follow. So these are called directive principles. So I hope that you have understood now the Constitution, what is Constitution and what does it talk about. So this is it. Okay, thank you so much. Without making the video very long, this is it for today. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching the video.